Undertale is a game full of secrets and hidden Easter eggs, but a lot of fans are pretty familiar with most of them by now. Stuff like the hidden fun value, or the secret conversation with Asriel at the end of the game. But today, I'm going to be telling you all about some facts and hidden secrets that you probably don't already know. I've been speedrunning Undertale for over 6 years now, and through my 3,000 hours of game time, I've seen things that very few fans even know exist. Before we get to that though, I just want to mention that the majority of my viewers aren't subscribed to the channel. Subscribing is free and only takes a moment, and it helps me out a lot, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this. With that out of the way, let's dive into 10 Undertale secrets that you probably don't know. In the Hotland area, after you finish up the cooking show minigame with Mettaton and have fun stacking hot dogs with Sans, there's this long room here with multiple text messages from Alphys and a path going downwards. Funny enough, a small little trick you can do is that by holding the bottom of this pathway, you won't get any text messages at all, as Toby forgot to extend the triggers far enough. But that's not why we're here. In this room to the south, before picking up the stained apron item, you'll get a friend request from Napstabluke22 that, when accepted, will automatically decline itself. It's a funny little joke, sure, but did you know that there was originally another friend request that was supposed to follow this up? In fact, it's still in the game and can be viewed using the punch card glitch. If you use the punch card exploit to wrong warp into the room, you're able to use the stained apron item in order to perform the text overflow glitch, allowing you to access this previously unused dialogue. It reads, "Mettaton has sent you a mortal enemy request. Accept the request? Congratulations, you are now mortal enemies with Mettaton. CoolSkeleton95 posted a comment on this change. Congratulations, you two! Wish you a long and horrible rivalry! This is one of those unused jokes that I honestly really wish made it into the final game. This dialogue is still present even in the most recent versions of Undertale, although you can't access it due to the punch card method of text overflow being inadvertently patched out. But it actually isn't translated to Japanese at all and will display in English even when the game language is set to Japanese. It definitely looks strange in this font. Pretty much every Undertale fan at this point knows that in the very first encounter with Flowey, you can intentionally dodge his friendliness pellets to aggravate him and cause him to call you out. But did you know that there's a secret piece of dialogue here I'm willing to bet very few people have ever encountered? Once you get to the line of dialogue where Flowey says to, quote, run into the bullets, you'll notice the dialogue will then immediately update and change to say friendliness pellets instead. But it actually goes further than this. If you press Z, you'll notice that the dialogue here will actually disappear and the entire text box will remain on screen with no text. But if you press Z 10 times here, Flowey will say, stop it, angrily at you. You have to be pretty quick, as once the bullets go past you, the cutscene will proceed as normal. This is definitely one of the strangest Easter eggs in this game, but it's cool to see even the very first cutscene hide a secret that people don't know about. Speaking of doing multiple inputs very quickly, there's a handful of little Easter eggs placed in the game just for that. In this room in Ruins, where Toriel leads you through the 2 switch puzzles, it's possible to get to this second, incorrect switch before Toriel gets into position for the cutscene to progress properly. If you do this and interact with it, the game will play a silly sound and announce that you are super fast at being wrong. Something similar, and much less well known than this, exists in the Snowdin Inn. It's actually possible for you to talk to the hotel staff lady a second time while in the process of being sent up to your bedroom. If you manage to pull this off quickly, you can read the special text box where she states, "What? No, you can't have a second key." Okay, everyone at this point probably knows about the fun value, right? Just to recap, every time you start a new game or reset, Undertale generates a number from 1 to 100 called the fun value, and if that value is at a certain number or range of numbers in some cases, various things can happen, such as Sans or Alphys calling you in Snowdin, or Clamgirl appearing in Waterfall to spoil the plot to Deltarune. If your fun value is 66, when you reach this room in Waterfall, you'll find an extra hallway, and very rarely, you'll even find a door leading to a blank room with one entity inside. Here, you can interact with this entity, known in the code as SPR_Mystery Man, which many in the community believe to be the eerie lore figure Dr. W.D. Gaster. I'm sure everybody knows that part already. But what you probably didn't know is that you can actually enter this room and interact with Gaster again. Normally, when you walk into this extra hallway, your fun value is immediately set to 0. This prevents you from loading up your save file to see the hallway again, or going into the hallway again at all after viewing it once. So fun value 66 is entirely in charge of the hallway appearing. From there, when this room is loaded, there's a 10% chance that the door will spawn. This gives the door a total 1 in 1,000 chance of occurring. 1 in 100 for the hallway, and 1 in 10 for the door. But when exiting Gaster's room, it'll bring you back into the hallway, regardless of your fun value currently being zeroed out. I think you can see where this is going. It's possible to exit Gaster's room only to hit the 1 in 10 chance to spawn the door again. This lets you go right back in and interact with Gaster a second time as if nothing had happened. Here's a clip of this very thing happening to me during a speedrun.
Yo! I got double door, wait a second!
This is a total 1 in 10,000 chance of occurring. That's more than double the odds of finding a shiny Pokemon in the newer games. What this means is that theoretically though, if someone was lucky enough, they could enter and exit the door and interact with Gaster over and over and over again. The odds of this are incredibly low, in fact, so low that, as far as I'm aware, there isn't any footage of the 1 in 100,000 triple door ever happening to anyone at any point. Spooky. Here's one that may surprise a lot of people. In the fight with Mettaton EX, on the 5th turn, you'll be prompted to answer the question, "Why do you love most about Mettaton?" with an essay response. And no, before you comment, that's not a typo in my script, it's literally an error in earlier versions of Undertale. Anyway, the essay. You can put a whole myriad of different responses here to gain various amounts of points. You can actually lose points by entering in various swear words as well as the word Beppis. You can enter the word Toby for quite a number of bonus points. You can also enter various complimentary words such as hot, beautiful, and capitvating. Not captivating, that one doesn't reward extra points. But capitvating does because of a typo, unlike the earlier one. This has never been fixed. Anyway, a lot of people know that the highest amount of points can be earned by typing the answer legs. Mettaton will even have a special comment for it. But as it turns out, this is actually not true at all. There is a word that will gain slightly more points than legs does by combining various complements together. The made-up word Hotfinenticute, made up of hot, fine, enticing, and cute, will gain 360 points, the maximum possible. I think it's a word that describes Mettaton pretty perfectly. There's a handful of rooms in Undertale that have music dependency issues. What do I mean? Well, let's look at this room, the Spider Bakery. It plays the track Quiet Water. In the Genocide route, normally when you kill every monster in Waterfall and run into the But Nobody Came screen, all of the Waterfall music tracks will be replaced with the track mus_too much, or commonly referred to as But Nobody Came by the fans. If this happens and then you travel to the Spider Bakery, you'll notice Too Much will be playing here instead of Quiet Water. But if you manage to kill 18 monsters in Waterfall and leave the area without running into the But Nobody Came screen, when you reach the bakery, it will still be playing Quiet Water instead. This is because when you run into the But Nobody Came screen, the game replaces all instances of the area music with that track, and for Waterfall, that includes Quiet Water, which just so happens to be reused later. This also happens in another spot. If you kill all 16 monsters in Snowdin without running into the But Nobody Came screen, when you enter Snowdin Town, you'll hear this extremely pitched down version of the normal music. This is the only circumstance in which this version of this track can ever play, and a lot of people don't even know Snowdin Town has a slowed down version for this route. There's one other room where this can weirdly happen, and it's completely unrelated to the Genocide route, and it can only be observed using the game's debug mode or editing save data. For some reason, if you load a save file in the videotape room in TrueLab, this is what plays instead of the normal theme. This room's music actually just loads whatever musical track is playing in Alphys' lab above ground. So if you use debug mode to load a save from the tape room while Alphys is currently set to play inside of the lab, you can actually hear it here too. A very strange oddity in the programming, for sure. Okay, that one was pretty complex, so let's move on to something super simple and quick. After going south in Snowdin in the room with the ice puzzle, and going all the way to the left, you'll reach this cliff. If you stand here and wait long enough, in the background you'll actually see what appears to be a tiny person exiting their house and walking around a bit. Who this person is or what they're doing out there is never explained, but I love tiny little Easter eggs like this in games. The True Pacifist epilogue gives you a chance to go around and revisit every area of the game and talk with everyone one last time. You can even have a heart-to-heart with Asriel in the first room of the game. But there's a secret character I bet a lot of you didn't know about. During your playthrough, after you give water to Undyne once she passes out of heat stroke, don't go forward quite yet. Instead, dump out all of the water out from the cooler until the text box for the puddle states that a large puddle is forming. Then, you can play through the rest of the game as normal. If you come back to this room in the pacifist epilogue, you'll find that a tiny little tree has begun to grow in the water puddle. This is such a tiny little detail that most people probably didn't see due to the water cooler taking a while to fully empty. After you watch Mettaton perform his opera song and solve the color puzzle maze, you can backtrack a bit to find this lion NPC. He'll talk about how he really loved Mettaton's dress and wonders if he could wear a dress just like it. If you go back to this room in the pacifist epilogue, you'll find that the lion is wearing Mettaton's same exact dress and is exclaiming huge happiness and joy over how it looks and feels. This is a pretty cute little interaction, but what you might not know is this actually extends over to Deltarune. In the light world, you can head over to the diner building to find the very same NPC from Undertale working there as a waitress. And yes, everyone in the bar does refer to her as a waitress. It's pretty awesome to see these games tastefully have transgender representation like this, even for a background character. For the final fact of the video, I'm going to absolutely tear up 8 years of headcanons and fan art to deliver an extremely harsh truth that many of you just might not be ready for. LV20 is actually much less powerful than LV19. I know what you're thinking. What? Wait, that can't be right. It shows right here in the game's stat menu that your attack power is 38, stronger than 36 at LV19. Well, actually, the number that appears here is 10 points lower than what it really is, but that still doesn't change the point that 48 is more than 46, right? Well, for some unknown reason, LV20 specifically is coded in a way that makes it so that whenever you enter battle, your attack stat is actually set to 30. That's right, 30, the same as LV11. This normally can't be observed as you can't fight anything after killing Sans, but by using glitches to infinitely encounter certain monsters, you can get to LV20 in a neutral playthrough and observe that the power level is pathetic. In case you're curious, the 999 blah 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 damage dealt to Sans and Asgore at the end of the Genocide route is just part of a cutscene. You could have the stick equipped and be at LV1 here and it would be the exact same. As for why, all we can really do is speculate. It's possible that at some point in development there was intended to be a fight after Sans. Nobody really knows except for Toby Fox. And that's it. If you actually managed to know all of these, you're a freak. Seriously, some of this stuff isn't even known by the prominent data miners. Hell, while trying to change the Undertale wiki to include the Hotfinenticute thing, it got reverted 3 times because all of the wiki admins thought we were making it up. So, thank you so much for watching, as always. If you enjoyed this video, you should let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to see if people would be interested in a second video of this kind. While you're at it, just go ahead and like the video too. You can go ahead and ring that bell for notifications, subscribe to my Twitch channel, donate to my World Takeover Fund, I don't know, do some crazy shit. Just some seriously crazy shit. At this point, I'm running out of things to say just to cover for the fact that I don't know how to end this video. Like, seriously, do you know how hard it is to write a good ending for a script to a YouTube video? I don't know how Tom Scott does it, man. People don't even watch these things to the end usually. And if you do, I love you a lot, and oh god, oh fuck, the video's ending, bye.